Hi everyone, in this section we're going to talk about wind energy. It is a short and sweet section, so let's kind of get into it. So wind turbine electricity generation, it's similar to fossil fuels in that a turbine is still being powered. The difference here is that the kinetic energy of moving air or the wind spins that turbine instead of having to heat water up to turn it to steam, which turns the turbine. This just uses wind to turn the turbine, which powers a generator. The generator then converts the mechanical energy of the turbine into electricity. So we have multiple energy conversions happening within our wind turbine electricity generation. The blades of the turbine are connected to a gearbox. Rotating gears create mechanical energy that the generator transforms into electricity. So the average wind turbine can power 460 homes and has 15 to 30% capacity factor, which is the percentage of total possible energy it could generate. Unfortunately, it only produces electricity in 8 to 55 mile per hour winds. So on days where wind speeds aren't strong enough, you're not going to get any electricity generation from a wind turbine. However, most turbines have a motorized drive that can turn the turbine to face the wind. So even though the turbines themselves are stationary, so they're firmly fixed into the ground, the top part of the turbine can rotate, so that way it maximizes the speed of the wind that is hitting those turbine blades. So this is kind of what we're talking about. This is the motorized drive that allows this part of the turbine to rotate, but the wind direction comes at the blades. The blades are turned by the wind. That mechanical energy transfers to the turbine, and then that generator powers the electricity. I have a link here for the top 10 wind farms in the world if you want to give that one a click on your own time. So wind turbines are typically clustered in groups. They're called wind projects or wind farms in flat open areas. So they're usually found in rural areas where there's not a lot to break up that wind as it flows across that open area. Locating the turbines together makes service, repair, and building transmission lines, so lines to carry the energy from the turbine or from the generator of the turbine to the consumer. It makes building those transmission lines to the turbines a lot easier, and the turbine can share land with agricultural use, so you're generating electricity as well as your crops at the same time. We also have offshore wind farms, which are located in oceans or lakes. This tends to capitalize on faster wind speeds out over the ocean, and it does require transmission lines to be built across long distances to reach the land. There was talk a while ago about potentially building a wind farm in Lake Erie, but if my memory serves correctly, they weren't going to drill down into the bedrock far enough to make the turbines sustainable. They would have required a lot of repair, so that project, I believe, has been paused. So the benefits of wind energy, it's non-depletable. So this is even better than renewable energy because the energy source isn't decreased by its use. So we consider it to be non-depletable. There's no greenhouse emissions or air pollutants released when generating electricity. Of course, we're going to have a little bit of greenhouse emissions or air pollutants in the fabrication and the installation of the wind turbines. However, once they're up and running to generate electricity, no greenhouse gases or pollutants are released into the environment. There's no CO2, which we know can lead to climate change, and there's no nitrogen oxides, sulfur oxides, or particulate matters like we have while burning fossil fuels. And like we said on the other slide, they can share land uses, so it doesn't typically destroy habitat or cause soil and water contamination like fossil fuels do. The drawbacks, intermittency, so wind energy isn't always available. Sometimes the winds are not blowing at a fast enough speed to turn the blades of the turbine to generate electricity. The wind turbines can't replace baseload power. These are sources that are always available, like fossil fuels, nuclear, or geothermal. So usually they supplement the energy that we get from fossil fuels, nuclear, or geothermal, but the wind energy by itself, as far as I know, can't be sustained on its own. It can supplement, but it is not a true standalone energy source. It can kill birds and bats, especially larger migratory birds. A fix for this has been to change the color of the blades or to not operate the turbines during migratory seasons. And some people consider the wind turbines an eyesore or a source of noise pollution. And that is it for this section. As always, if you have questions, please let me know.